I think what excites us so much is that Bernard will now be with us through our 50th anniversary in the 24-25 season. And the work that he's done with us so far in these first 4 years is just going to grow. Because the 50th anniversary is something where you celebrate the past, but also where you look to the future. So as we have developed this great relationship with Bernard, with our audiences, we just want to see that continue and grow and reach and delight and move more and more people each year.
Bernard Labadie is without a doubt one of the leading experts in 17th and 18th century classical music. In a career spanning well over 3 decades, Bernard has conducted in orchestral and opera halls around the world, from New York City's Carnegie Hall to Paris's Théâtre des Champs-Élysées. In 2018, Bernard became the 5th Principal Conductor of Orchestra of St. Luke's, continuing the orchestra's long tradition of working with advocates of historically informed performance practice.
Bernard's debut with us was at Caramore. It was all Mozart. It featured ensemble soloists, and after the concert there was a wonderful dinner so everyone could meet Bernard. But the moment I really recall was when musicians came up and hugged me and thanked me for bringing Bernard to the Orchestra of St. Luke's.
Bernard has given us his love for music and the period of music. He particularly has a specialty and passion about conducting, and it feels like we've been waiting for years for Bernard.
I like so many things about Orchestra of St. Luke's. The fact that it is an orchestra that was born in New York City, stemming out of the will of local virtuosos, young musicians who wanted to create something different, something new that would allow them to realize their dreams of doing first chamber music, but then it went on to orchestral music, to dance music, to modern music. Orchestra of St. Luke's is a place where you can go in New York if you want to hear the widest array of musical performances. And there's something extremely touching in this vitality which stems from inside.
You know, there's a lot of creative people in our group and there's a lot of different opinions. What he does is he uses his historical knowledge to widen the palette of expression. The way he paces things, you know, it's like a really good novel.
He brings with him this wonderful combination of knowing the historical style and how to realize it on modern instruments. Bernard conducts at Carnegie Hall 6 times a year, 3 at Stern and 3 at Zankhill Hall with the Bach Festival. And he provides New York City with 18th century repertoire brought back to life.
Bernard is passionate about sharing his love of early music with audiences and students around the city.
Bernard is so committed to the next generation of performers. But the thing I'll never forget is when he worked with our youth orchestra. Youth Orchestra of St. Luke's, we call it YOSL. YOSL students and their families come to all of our concerts at Carnegie Hall. And one year we were doing the Hebrides Overture by Mendelssohn. We arranged it for the youth orchestra and Bernard came and worked with them. And it just was thrilling for the kids to light up, to see the lights go on in their eyes when they worked with him. And Bernard's eyes lit up too when he heard the students play and respond to him.
We were working on Hebrides Overture, and it was really interesting and fun to work on with him because him being the great conductor he is, and then working with us kids a few years ago was really great experience because it was fun and it was such a great experience to have.
When Jim Rowe told me that Bernard had been appointed OSL's principal conductor, I was so excited because I'm an early music fanatic. And I thought that this was so great for New York City to have this kind of person. But then I had an ulterior motive right away, which was how do I get him involved in MSM? Because MSM doesn't have a historical informed performance practice program, and we probably won't. But at the same time, I think it's important that our students work with someone who does historical performance practice so that when they go out into the real world, they have that skill and they have that exposure. And who knows, some of them may decide after working with Bernard to say, this is actually the direction I want to go in.
The historically informed performance practice movement, or hip movement as we like to call it. It's something, first of all, that it's not a recent invention. It's something that goes back to, that goes back almost to the 18th century. The hip movement is basically about trying to rediscover how music from the past centuries was composed, was thought of by people who heard it for the first time, how it was performed, of course, but it's more just about using the right instrument or trying to create the exact setup that existed back then, because there's one big thing missing in our searches, that we'll never hear what this music sounded like in the late 17th or 18th or early 19th century. So we're trying to collect the best tools we can to try to understand this music better.
I think there's no such thing as one historic performance practice. I mean, actually, everyone who makes music that way has their own, of course, individual taste and musical preferences and approach. I find for myself that Bernard's is particularly somehow, just musically, I really respond to it. I really connect to it very much. And I find it's very natural. It's not dogma, this must be done this way, this must be done that way. He always approaches it also thinking how the character would come to life and how it kind of will sound beautiful.
And now, with OSL's 50th anniversary on the horizon, Bernard will continue to lead the orchestra with a foundation of mutual trust and collaboration and shared excitement for what's next.
His specificity of interpretation is something that inspires us, but at the same time, as we work with him, also the mutual trust that's developed allows us to take risks and really, I think, find new ways of exploring very familiar works, and also sometimes finding incredibly new works in old music.
He has brought a sense of unity, a sense of focus, a sense of incredibly high artistic standard, and mutual respect. You know, it's wonderful to get that feeling from someone who is so informed and so talented and so inspiring, where you feel there's a reciprocal respect on his end for all the members of the orchestra.